Indeed, Sanchez's arrival spells danger for the likes of Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, such great young talents who Mourinho seemingly does not trust. Former United midfielder Owen Hargreaves told the Premier League's global broadcast, "I'm pretty sure Klopp would love Martial him, and Guardiola, a player so technically gifted. I'm not sure why it is he doesn't trust him. Maybe he makes his mind up early." Round 24. Former Manchester United and Liverpool striker Michael Owen added, "I'm more not convinced about Jose than Martial, and attacking players under his tutelage struggle. If you look across the road at Pep Guardiola, players improve, they flourish under him. Go through the attacking talent Jose Mourinho has had. Not many have blossomed. I'm not sure a player like Anthony Martial can blossom in such structured teams." And beneath the story of the Arsenal stars' arrival lies the imminent departure of Henrik Mkhitaryan, a prime example of a player who speaks to the concerns of Hargreaves and Owen. This is a player who will leave Manchester United a shadow of his former self. The Armenian playmaker arrived in the Premier League having scored 23 goals and provided 32 assists for Borussia Dortmund across all competitions in 20,152,016. He exits broken. The only consolation for Mkhitaryan. Look left and right on the Premier League table, where Kevin De Bruyne is flourishing at Manchester City, and Mohamed Salah at Liverpool. The pair are arguably the Premier League's two clear players of the season thus far, and both, infamously, were sold by Mourinho at Chelsea. In today's wild market, the fact that they cost City and Liverpool £90.5 million combined. Paul Pogba cost £89 million is bewildering and arguably the best business in the competition in recent memory. Podcast Adam Peacock is joined by John Kazmina and Daniel Garb for our weekly chat about all the talking points here and abroad. It is mind-boggling to think what the 11 at Stamford Bridge might have looked like if not for Mourinho's impatience, which, as a result, has directly reshaped the Premier League's top four. Latest updates on SANCHEZMIKHIRSENALUNITED swap news. Jose Mourinho leaves Henrik Mkhitaryan out of United squad. Latest late Sanchez twist United's wild outlay. Why? City back flipped analysis. Jose's ultimate laugh in Wenger's $104 million implosion. Mourinho said, Mkhitaryan is a player that I like, of high quality. Is he going to be involved in one deal in leaving us? It's possible. But it's also possible that he stays. I'm just trying to protect him and the team. So let's make sure he stays with us so that he leaves us. The market is open. This season he started very well, but has come a little bit down. Last season he did amazing things for us and helped us to win the Europa League, being one of the most important players. So let's see what is going to happen. Manchester United's Portuguese manager Jose Mourinho looks on as Manchester United's Armenian midfielder Henrik Mkhitaryan is substituted off. Source at Miki's Manchester journey. It wasn't all initially Mourinho's doing. The Armenian found the transition to the fast and frenetic Premier League tricky and was used as a scapegoat by the Special One early in his tenure. Despite netting the goal of the season with his outrageous scorpion goal, over time, the artist was becoming a square peg in Mourinho's functional round hole. While Juan Mata, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford and Jesse Lingard, arguably the one player to improve under Mourinho, have also had to fight for regular game time. The biggest victim of the perfunctory Portuguese has been the creative talents of the former Bundesliga star. Despite having all the attributes, it looked like he was finally set to be integrated this year, and opened the season with 6 assists. 5 came in the first 3 games, a haul not seen in the top flight in 23 years. Then, he got lost again, and became the target of Mourinho's public ire. With his confidence sapped, so too did his form, and game time was the next thing to disappear. Manchester United's French striker Anthony Martial. Source AFP, I was not happy with his last performances. I'm not speaking about 1 or 2, I'm speaking about 3, 4 or 5. Mourinho fumed as the playmaker's involvement waned in big fixtures against Chelsea, Tottenham and Liverpool contests. The United boss decided to suck the life out of. He started the season very well, and after that, step by step, he was disappearing. His performance levels in terms of goal scoring and assists, high pressing, recovering the ball higher, the pitch, bringing the team with him as a number 10, were decreasing step by step. That was enough because the others worked to have a chance even when he was playing well. Luck was not on his side. Stoke City's Austrian defender Moritz Barrel challenges Manchester United's English midfielder Jesse Lingard, our source of Parta hauling him off at half-time. Against Derby recently, Mourinho said, "It was unfair to take Mkhitaryan off and I told him that at half-time. I didn't like what I did. He didn't deserve it. He was playing well, he wasn't playing bad. He had a couple of missed passes but he was playing well and giving a good dynamic to the team. My feeling was just that Rashford is not going to score a goal and because of that I'm not going to lose time and I'm going to play Romelu Lukaku, so then I had to sacrifice a player. Mickey was the one that I sacrificed, but it's something that I don't normally do, but I did at half-time and apologized to him in front of other people because he didn't deserve it." The WRUINESALAH consolation for Mkhitaryan, Belgian De Bruyne and Egyptian Salah top Mourinho's Hall of Shame. Both players have improved staggeringly since being unshackled elsewhere. This season alone, they have been involved in 39 goals between them, Salah with 18 goals and 6 assists, and De Bruyne with 6 goals and 9 assists. The purchase prices for City and the Reds are relative bargains. But the scandal for Chelsea supporters, given what they're worth now, is De Bruyne was sold for £18 million, Salah for £15 million after being trusted with just 2 and 6 starts at Stamford Bridge. Manchester United's Romelu Lukaku source at Mourinho's former lieutenant John Terry insists it was the right call to sell the pair, and Romelu Lukaku, who Mourinho has since signed for United, because they didn't improve an all-conquering side, so they was coming into one of the best sides. When they come in, can they make a big enough impact to sustain and keep the place? No, it's very difficult to do. The common denominator: they were both creative talents with raw attributes before their prime that Mourinho did not have the patience to cultivate. If he had Leroy Sane or Raheem Sterling now, would they suffer similar fates? City are ahead this season because Pep Guardiola has developed players rather than expected ready-made talent to instantly deliver. Jamie Carragher wrote for The Telegraph in December. Mohamed Salah source AFP, Mourinho has increasingly come to rely on more experienced, established performers. If you want to evolve a club or team, you don't call Mourinho. He is a coach who navigates his way to silverware with teams that have the raw materials, something he has already achieved at United with 2 trophies in his first season. His reputation as a world-class coach is based on his ability to find a way to win. His legacy will be elevated if he returns to what made him so outstanding during his first spell at Chelsea, when guiding players such as John Terry, Frank Lampard, who he inherited and made better, and Didier Drogba, who he signed and made world-class. After an indifferent first season at Stamford Bridge, if Mourinho was coaching the Manchester City side, they would not be playing the style of football we are seeing today. If there is a symbol of that, look no further than Kevin De Bruyne, a player Mourinho coached at Chelsea but then sold. I have heard all the arguments about how De Bruyne, just like Mo Salah, was not so developed at Chelsea during the Mourinho era, and Chelsea did not suffer given they won the title twice in 3 years after selling him. But would other managers have discarded such a talent, or would they have found a way to nurture it in the long-term interests of the club? Manchester City's Kevin De Bruyne source app: it is hard to believe Guardiola would have managed De Bruyne on a daily basis at a young age and not seen what he might become. Where Guardiola is delivering in the short term with an eye on further development, Mourinho is now about the instant hit. Players who may excel in 2 or 3 years' time do not seem to be of interest, as he rarely hangs around at a club to reap the benefits of the progress. Mourinho's greatest gaffes: it's not all doom and gloom. Mourinho has won trophies with the likes of Arjen Robben and Damien Duff flying down the flanks, Mesut Ozil creating for Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid, and he presided over Wesley Sneijder's peak at Inter Milan. But don't forget that he also offloaded Juan Mata to Manchester United as soon as he arrived for his second term at Stamford Bridge, turning the club's reigning Player of the Year into a bench warmer. While the signs of things to come came way back in his early days, when Joe Cole went from a star on the rise to a fading star that never reached his potential. Not a picture you'd have tipped to see a few years ago. Source: Pother attacking a creative players to fall foul include Andre Schürrle, although he hasn't kicked on since. Juan Cuadrado, while he admits selling midfielder Thiago early on at the bridge was a mistake. Veterans have not been immune either, with Mourinho making the tough calls on favourite son Frank Lampard, as well as Bastian Schweinsteiger, Michael Essien, Guti, Rafael van der Vaart and Juan Sebastian Veron. David Luiz and Leonardo Bonucci are the two highest profile centre-backs discarded by Mourinho to have kicked on, while Ryan Bertrand, Ezekiel Garay and Felipe Luis are serviceable defenders who Mourinho didn't show faith in.